everybody, and welcome to Heart of Scrolls, almost weekly show with mostly members of the Badger Guild, where we usually talk about scrolls. Because Smogan couldn't make it this week, you'll be stuck with me, Ice Cream, as a host. Fortunately, today, with me here are people that should make up for it, at least a little bit. Welcome to the show, familiar faces like Sysp.
Hello.
Blinky.
Hello.
And last, but by no means least, a newcomer to Heart of Scrolls, Orangee. Since it's his first time on, he'll get 3 seconds to introduce himself in as much detail as possible.
Hello everyone. I'm a fruit apparently, so yeah. I'm the founder and creator of Scrollger.com. I also do front-end design for Scrolls Guide.
Nice.
That's me.
I think we'll talk about that a little bit later because there are some announcements. Actually, it's not an announcement, but some rumors going on, I heard. So I would like to talk about it later. But for now, we don't have a set topic for today, but there are many things happening that we should have enough to talk about for an hour. I hope so. And my guests will for sure help me. So, first on the list that I have here as news is the CM announcement as community manager. We will have 2 community managers, and they are called Atmas and Simi Scrollin. So, anyone has any comments on that from here?
Good.
Shall I go first, shall I?
Yeah, please do so.
Alright, well, Gareth has been doing a lot of preparation for this role, practically a year of research into being a community manager, so he's all set up. Atmaz was a surprise, but you can understand why. He seems quite a good, cool guy. Been chatting to them the past few days and stuff, what's been going on, so I think very good choices, and I have to say that because I'm going to be working with them, so I have to be a good boy now.
Yeah. I think they do also complement each other. I think Atmos is a pretty strong player as well. Garrett plays less, I think. I think he's more into the other stuff, which is not a bad thing, I think. So it's probably good that they complement each other like that as well. I don't know if that even factored into the choice, but I think it was a good call.
Orangee, any thoughts?
Well, Gareth was... Everyone was actually thinking of him from the start, and his obvious choice, I think. But I like that they actually made 2 CMs, because then it's more fair, and the reason they made 2 is so one can be on the European end and one can be on the US end, so...
Yeah, this is also true. Atmas is from US, Gareth is from Europe, so should be pretty good. Especially Atmas being like the main community manager, you could say. He has more responsibilities as far as I read from this page that was announcing it. So he will probably be doing more stuff for the US because we have the community mostly in Europe and our events are mostly in European times. So I think it's a good news for Americans.
Gareth's going to be heading the moderators, so he's going to be in charge of me and Sis, and he's also going to be like researching things as well, because that's the sort of thing he likes to do. So, and then Atmas gets to do the rest of the job, because sort of the communication side of things. So, I think everything will be good.
I think they'll be researching like what they will actually be doing in coming weeks, like as it comes. I don't think it's like super clear to them yet either. At least it wouldn't be to me. I mean, there's like so many things that they could be doing, so it'll be interesting to see.
Twill.
We happy with it?
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's good.
No complaints.
No complaints. I think there's only one person who complained, and it's So really good choices.
You said Gareth was okay, so I suppose that's a compliment.
Yeah. Gareth was okay, so it's good. Now, we have a patch to talk about, because today was a busy day for Mojang a little bit. They deployed a test server patch with some tweaks. It's called Tweaks 1. Post Weapons Tweaks 1. Amongst other changes, there is upgrades to Black Market, which I think were kind of like nice to see, because I mentioned in IRC about a week ago that like I really like the black market that what's his name? No Hero did like and yeah, Mans looked at it and was like intrigued in what does it look like, and many of the things that were there are now implemented in game. So I think that's brilliant. And I guess what you guys will have a lot to say about, I hope, is the changes to pure damage that has been introduced to Wildling, Animavora, Earthborn Mystic, Fate Duty, Vengeful Vator, and Anima Conduit. They deal pure damage as it can't be reduced by magic armor.
Mhm.
Thoughts? Go.
About bloody time.
Yeah, I think
Pretty
it's,
much it.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that they've added that now, so they have the option of differentiating a little bit, because we never knew if the interaction with magic armor was intentional or not. It felt a little bit weird, but it made some stuff hard to balance. And I think that the option of having pure damage or true damage or whatever you want to call it is it's a good call for the design parts. It's easier to balance certain scrolls.
Mm-hmm. I
don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was playing today against, I don't know who it was somebody from the top 10 or 15, and he, in Judgment, and he was playing Eager Scryer, and he had him enchanted with Pilgrim's Feet, or whatever the healing on move is, and then he played Faith Duty, and Faith Duty is really strong if it's reduced and it's not dealing damage, so I'm happy that's gone. It was like really combo I didn't think of, and completely surprised me and wrecked me that game. So
yeah, that one would still work, though, I guess, because of the healing from Pilgrim's Feet. But get your point.
Yeah.
It was mainly Wildling and Oakblood that the whole thing was all about.
Yeah.
We just hated.
And they took it off the Oakblood, but I guess it was still there with certain stuff. And it's there was some sleepers in there with enchanting. I don't necessarily think it was too strong. It was just a bit
Flavor.
odd.
Yeah.
I think with the change to Violent Dispersal as well, it kind of made things a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean,
I
It's
agree.
so horrible.
I mean,
There was one of those patches where there was a lot of changes. It was hard to tell what affected what, but it definitely
Wildling was
shifted
moved to
around.
3 cost as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was in that one or some
No, I
patch
think it
close
was.
to it. Yeah. So a lot of changes in the same patch there, and it's hard to tell which one actually stuck or not. So I think it was this was probably one of the unintentional parts of it. So it's good that they changed it, I think.
yeah. I mean, there's also flavor reasons, because growth is all about healing, and when they are so armored, they don't have a reason to heal. That's, I think, yeah. And what other things are in there? Some bugs fixes.
Filters.
Right. Filters. Oh yes, yeah, it's in the black market, right?
Yeah, the gold filter there was pretty interesting. I mean, if you're interested in speculating, you
Yeah.
can try to figure out which.
Yeah.
If you have any cheap rares there, that shouldn't be cheap. So.
Have we talked about black market on previous shows? I don't know when I was here.
No, but I think it's. I think the general impression of the community was, how could we ever live without this? It's obviously a huge upgrade from the trade chat, and I think it's also very needed just because of if we get to the launch and there's an onslaught of player again. If you remember how the trade chats worked or did not work. When it was a lot of player,
Yeah.
I mean they were just like scrolling so fast, and I remember I had to use like IRC clients with filtering and so on just to try to pick up what actually was going on in there. So I don't think maybe it's better if that stuff actually works in game, because that particular model didn't scale so well, and this one definitely does. I mean it can support any number of players. And probably gets better actually when with a lot of players. So no, I think it's a good change for getting it ready for launch.
Mm-hmm. And from experience, are you people using it?
I haven't really sold anything on there because I don't have anything to sell because I'm going for tier 3s, but
Yeah,
I'm
not
buying lots of things.
much. No. I think it's very good with the launch, just because you could get to a competitive deck very fast if you wanted to pay for it. So
I just bought 7 nutritions, so.
Speculating, are we?
I have sold actually tons of scrolls on the black market, and it works pretty good.
Cool.
Only thing that's
it does give you
bad
indication
about
of
it is
prices,
the fence that takes 15%, but you doesn't really notice that since things are. You sell the expensive stuff and buy the cheap stuff, so.
I'm still missing things like history and graphs of the prices, so I could like have a look and see, oh, it's really high today, let's not buy, let's wait with the thingy, or oh, this is just a spike price because somebody bought out the cheap ones, and this price is completely not anything that anyone would actually buy it for, and so on. So there are still a lot of improvements, I think, that could be made, and I'm hoping they will eventually be made. But it serves well.
What I like about black market is all the old rares for new players, like Automaton Forge. They go for 250 now on the black market.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I bought.
Change for 5,000, isn't it, ice cream?
Yeah, I bought my 3-4K or something a piece. So.
I mean, I got 3 for 20K, and it was the best deal I ever made. So.
Wow.
Definitely a good one, man.
Yeah. I mean, I was the first. Where? Anything else on the test patch that anyone wants to mention?
Don't know. Let's have a look.
It was not much more than that, I think. I mean, there was really just bug fixes on top of that, and most of them were like not the ones that were coming up a lot. So, not much that will affect the game, I think.
Oh, there is one thing. There's this guy on Reddit's been uploading videos as a new player. I'm playing Scroll, which has been quite interesting to watch, and obviously Mons has been...
The control!
Yeah, Mons has been looking, so they've added in that control element, because that wasn't clear. So yeah, obviously, so hopefully from that, we'll be able to get a good sense of what starting the game actually being like, and work on that.
If you haven't seen his videos, check it out, they're all over Reddit right now. He's called Peter, I think, and they're fairly good for like people like them. So go check that out.
I was very interested just from a perspective of like seeing a new player, because it's very hard to remember what it was like being a new player at this stage now, and it's really hard also to suggest anything to them really about that. And I think that the crew, I mean, that's the one thing with like a regular usability thing, is that like it's very hard to imagine a user experience that isn't your own. And as you grow more familiar, like as a developer, you can't help being an expert on your own system. So it's very hard to imagine what a new player, for instance, needs or understands or is drawn to, and so on. So I think that kind of thing is extremely helpful for getting some feedback on that. So props to you.
Yeah, props to you.
Well done.
Yeah. I think his channel is Gaming with Peter or something.
Now, we have another topic that we could talk about, and I'm not sure if you said you don't want to talk about it, so let's change it into something a little bit different. I know that Smogan and his guests were talking about it last week, but still, it's fairly relevant. What's the meta right now looking like? What are people playing? I know Blinky is number 10 spot right now, so he probably has a fairly good idea what's around the top, but I think the rest of us have also okay-ish idea of what's being played. So, but Blinky, go first. What's hot?
There's been a lot of Order, Gravelocks, and GD Samata. That's been the 3 most popular decks. Not a lot of growth, so naturally I'm giving it a go.
And he dropped, or it's him. Nice.
Oh,
yeah, it's the
gone.
thing with when you become a growth player, you instantly disappear off the radar and top spots. That's how it works. I mean, you just fall out to the top. Yeah, you fall out to the top. It was when you said growth, and then you just dropped. All of a sudden, I'm gonna drop now as well. I think. Where is growth? What is the state of growth?
I think it's good, badly.
Yeah, it's like.
I'm trying that game growth instead of aggro growth because it's more.
But there is actually some growth being played. I think Frostgale, Quake is being played, Samata Shift.
Yeah.
What the veteran is played, yeah.
Returns to nature. I mean, Range of Spain, sorry. Yeah. It's just not.
No.
Decay's struggling right now. I mean, I gave it a go with like curses and control and stuff, and Factor to Orbit is quite easily countered through a few decks which have suddenly popped up. So put that to rest. And I tried normal Decay as well and adapted that, and that's done okay. But Curse Presence is a thing. But yeah, there's lots of decks being played.
So-
It's hard to say what's the best.
Blinky, about the growth deck, what does it stand on? Like, what kind of approach are you taking? Is it creature spam and working that into a god hand, or is it more human-like Kinfolk deck, or what does it stand on?
It goes up to God Hand. It's very, very old school. It's Veta, Ragged, Brave, Sister of a Fox, Mystic, Mangy, Brother Wolf, Rat King, Great Wolf, Veteran, Sister of the Owl. We're giving that a go.
Okay.
God Hand,
No,
Quake, Rallying, Stag Heart, 2 Ancestral Totems, Quake. Oh,
He remembers every deck. Wow.
no striped bears.
no.
Wow.
Okay.
And
Problem is, for decks right now,
Yeah, no,
it's not a high chance of getting a human, and if you are, you're probably getting stuffed anyway because it's coming in with Iron Bar and stuff. So
I guess if you have a lot of order on the ladder, I feel like it would be fairly strong. And also all of the humans in the they are all humans in the
Samata.
Giri deck also. Yeah.
but I prefer the consistency of Brother Wolf because it also gives me extra reach with wolves and
Oh, true.
Is
also Great
there
Wolf. So
Wetland Ranger in that deck?
no, you don't want Wetland Ranger in a late game growth deck. It doesn't really work. You want beefier units I can use. Not designed to be speedy. You want big fat things.
Brave? Is Brave there?
Yeah, Brave's in.
Okay.
Just because it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brave you can get away with. I was thinking about going Nog Nest and like Vengeful Vase. I haven't really tried too much. I mean, I'm known to be a terrible late game growth player, so that's what I've been trying to change. I even started recording a video on it, but for some reason frame rate dropped, so I've had to give up on it. But
And
Okay.
what's your record with it? Wins, losses.
I've lost one game, Atlas to Energy,
Uh-huh.
and I'll just check up how many games I played of it. I
Yeah.
think it's pretty decent. I mean, I managed to beat Liga in his GD Samata stuff with a few things that are satisfying. So
Yeah.
you can stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Wow. That's a lot.
9, 10.
Okay, so it has pretty good win rate, I see.
10,
but
10 1? 10 1.
He has that with most decks, so I wouldn't put too much weight on that. But I think it feels like the tools should be there. I wouldn't be surprised that it's very easy to build to counter the Samata deck actually. But I think that if the one I have a little bit harder time judging is the one with versus like Knight's Order and all of that. How do you have any idea how you fare there?
What, as growth?
As growth. That's what I'm saying. It's like Order versus growth. Yeah.
Faced it twice, and that was against Dybart is his name, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I managed to win twice. I had quite a few armor things as well. I managed to get a few god hands in. It's fine as growth. I mean, you're only protecting yourself against Quake, so whatever. I mean, it takes that away, but you can usually get a few creatures in. I was trying Ranger's Bane in that deck as well, and that kind of stopped that. But
I think
not too
Ranger's
worried
Bane
about
was the sleeper here for quite a long time. I played it before Waypoints, and it's like was a really good scroll even before.
Poison change.
Yeah, Poison Change. The thing was holding it back was that like you had to play Mystic in every deck, and you don't want your Mystic to draw stuff that actually doesn't improve the power on your side. It's better to play your own.
yeah, you kind of want to take
that
advantage of
like-
Mystic's buff and stuff, and especially with all the armor and things.
Yeah.
I just had to go with Stag
I
Heart
think-
in the end.
If Mystic wasn't in the game, I think we would have seen it before the patch, to be honest, or rather before Waypoints, because it was actually a very strong scroll. And it was very important piece in like making ED control work before the patch, just because you had to do something while you had your more clunky draws in the beginning with the ramping. And it was very efficient at the only two. I mean, it was a green spark, pretty much. But now it's even better.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, though, I think that I think people are overreacting a bit to the poison change. I mean, if it becomes a thing, I mean that the fourth tick actually happens, that doesn't seem like a good game for you. In most cases, like you have the creature you have spent a scroll on removing actually probably got to attack twice more after that. That seems like are you like in Ember Bonds territory then or something like that? It's a really bad scroll.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's I think people are overestimating the impact of the poison change. I think it's the first two ticks usually that are the important ones. Maybe the third, but usually the first two. So the fourth one is not the winning one. Yeah.
The problem with the poison change is not the fact that it's made them weaker or anything, or stronger. It's the fact that it kind of limits design space for future poison scrolls. Like say,
I think that the problem was that it completely mucked the balance on the old scrolls. I mean, they look like terrible pieces of design now. I mean, the Brain Lice and the Infectious Blight are like the awkward twins of being on the exact same spot.
Now you can't have just like a scroll that can do poison damage for 2 rounds or 7 rounds or whatever. It's just making things awkward. Now everything has to be highly costed if it involves poison because it can last infinite turns. It's just annoying, and Miasma Wells are now really awkward and Blight Bear and
thing, and then also the what is that Pest Simulator? Like completely, it was like borderline playable before. Now it's like just completely crap.
Now it's just a really highly costed mechanic that is really slow.
Yeah, and I think that just mucked those scrolls beyond belief. I think the thing is that poison is still around. I mean the Blight didn't get changed, and it was infinite even before. So
poison is around, I think, mainly thanks to Curse. If it wasn't for Curse, I don't think we would see that much poison.
Yeah, definitely an enabler. I mean, it's the best enabler that Decay has for the damage. So
yeah, it's Curse makes poison playable, and before Miasma Wells did the same, and now you are limited to only Curse. Am I seeing it correctly? I hope so.
Yeah, the well is really terrible now.
Yeah. Didn't Mons talk about that he wanted to buff the Miasma Well?
Yeah, to 1 countdown, I think. But it's still.
Oh, okay. Then
it feels like bad. If they had to rebalance all these scrolls, there was a couple of changes that needed to happen anyways. I mean, for instance, like the Blight Bear needed the cost change regardless of the poison. But
did it?
It was easily the strongest scroll on 3 40k. I think it was definitely out of the line. But but I mean, it's like a very safe scroll at the 3/4 for 3 that actually has a drawback getting attacked into. I think it's I mean, if you let it attack twice, I mean, you already have value. Any creature that gets to attack twice is fantastic. So I think it needed a change regardless. But all the other stuff was just like weirdly mocked with. So I think that almost all of that is just like very weird now and doesn't look like nice designs at all. So I think they need to go over those again. And it feels like, is that really where they want to spend like time and resources balancing?
Yeah.
Felt a little bit like they changed it and now they had to do more design work just to patch it up again. So no, it wasn't a fan.
Yeah. Orangee, what have you been playing on ladder?
Gravelocks.
Nice.
I haven't played much, but the first day I got all the Gravelocks scrolls, so I put together a Gravelock deck and played ranked and won 5-1, I think, with Gravelocks. Nice. First day.
And so you're happy with them?
Yeah, but yeah.
Gravelocks do seem really strong.
They have some weaknesses, especially against the Bloodline Tent.
I started playing Waypoints with like, Bloodline Tent is horrible. I started playing Waypoints with like almost no gold saved up, and I was ranking up with Mono Energy Ranged, like the older deck, the pre-Waypoints, and slowly buying up my Gravelocks. And I got to 1600, around top 50, I was all happy, and now I was thinking, let's play the Gravelocks, since I finally got them all. Started playing Gravelocks and dropped to 1500 again. So I'm not too happy with them, but that's just me.
Well,
maybe it's just you.
Yeah, it's just me.
When I started playing Gravelocks, there was nobody that had the Gravelocks actually, so I came in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So that worked pretty great for me, but now I play them lately and I just lose. So
I'm-
I guess they are.
I'm interested in seeing like where they will be in a week or so, because I
Yeah.
don't think like they are nearly reliable enough to be played like on a good like top ranks reliably. Like if you want to be in top 10, you have to have a deck that wins what 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, and
Yeah.
if you have Gravelocks that can just completely screw you. It happens to me at least. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's maybe the build. I don't know exactly what you're playing,
yeah.
but I feel like it's fairly consistent if you change around the build a bit and take advantage of the omelette. The ones I've seen that's been performing the best is the ones that are like very explosive and actually fairly low costed apart from the Gravelocks. So you play like your power trips and your skull shrines and all of that, and then have a fairly low curve in general. I mean, I play plating in mine, for instance, just to get the scroll out of the hand, get the tempo play where I soak a damage attack, and then also I can heal the outcast and all of that shenanigans.
Oh.
So it's like, I think if you're playing with the mentality of emptying your hand fairly fast and then doing a normal turn that is safe, like you're dropping it on the same turn as you're activating it and getting up, it's very little risk, I think. And then you can ramp for the entire game and get to those points where you start dropping like 2-3 things a turn. And decks usually have very hard to catching up to that, especially when you get the elders out and can get them to stick behind all your meat walls. So I feel like that's like obviously like an ideal scenario, but I think it's definitely a build thing also. There's definitely a possibility of building them less efficient, I think. And I'm not saying that this build is like the be-all, end-all, but I'm just saying that there's a ton of like people are saying Gravelocks. We always do this with decks. We're saying we're playing Gravelocks, we're playing like ED Sumata control,
right.
but even within those decks there are huge variations. I've seen a ton of variations only on Sumata control actually also. So
It's true.
they all do the same
there's a
things,
lot
but
of
they do
room
it
for
with different
variation,
cards. Yeah.
I'm playing deck that has Machination Mindset and Snargles and Desperations and Waves, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll take a look at some of the other deck lists. It actually brings me back to the 1 year and a half ago, when we were discussing energy decks, and every little scroll made a huge difference in those days.
I think that thread proved that there was like, I mean, especially if you're tailing towards a matchup, I mean, just changing like 2-3 scrolls can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I think it's too early to say that we have perfect builds of Gravelocks, for instance. I think that there's probably a builder that can compete in the top ranks. Then exactly how strong it is hard to tell when the other decks also get more refined. But I think it's too early to dismiss them as less powerful at the moment, I think.
You gave me hope. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Greylock hope.
So, what have you been playing, Sysp?
Sumata. No, actually, I haven't been playing too much Sumata. I think I kind of left that one. Definitely there was. I saw that there was people taking it further than I did. I liked Rotspangle's build also with adding like the Scam and War thing towards it, and it looked interesting. There's other variations that I can't figure out why it's been done. I've seen some people playing Halls of Umlasa in it.
Oh.
Do you understand how bad that scroll is in the mirror? You spend your entire turn dropping it, and then they rekindle spirit on something that they wanted to do anyways, and you don't throw anything of it. If you're expecting a field of mirrors, don't play Halls. And even in the matchup where it's like not that bad, I mean, it doesn't do anything for the tempo, and almost all the other draw spells in the deck actually does something for the tempo. So I would stay away from Halls in that build. That's just a small tip. Yeah, no, don't play Halls.
Reaping Mask is seeing play as well.
What's that?
Reaping Mask is seeing play in that deck as well.
Yeah, seeing that, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I really
Is that good awesome, or is that sarcastic
I don't
awesome?
know. It's too awesome not to mention, I think.
Oh.
And the thing was I ran into two of them after each other, and the first one I was like, cool, Reaping Mask, what a guy, really cool. And then it's like next game, completely different guy, and it's like Reaping Mask. Okay, is this new meta now? What happened? Did I strap through the mirror here? Is Reaping Mask still obviously good now? All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, it was a bit weird, but it's a very cool addition. people are having fun with the deck and against the deck, of course, right?
Yeah, yeah. Are you enjoying the mirrors of that?
No. No, that's why I'm not playing it. I'm actually playing a lot of other things. I'm playing non-waypoints aggro energy.
Uh-huh.
I'm playing. I took out that EO.
Structures.
No, it's something like that. It's the state machine lock deck that I did countering pudding that I'm tailoring a little bit more, and then I'm trying to build like a beefy non-Gravelock energy deck also, similar to what I had earlier with like some structures, and then mostly beef. And some others. I've been toying around with decay, doing some creature heavy varieties with curse.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things. Not so much growth yet. Yeah, could be something to build.
What's your take on Effigy of the Queen?
Yeah, it's a very strong scroll.
No goals for nerfs? Nothing?
Well,
I think the ward is putting it out of counterplay range. I like that there's counterplay scrolls, but the counterplay needs to have counterplay, if you know what I mean. There's nothing you can do to counter it, and the thing is that I think that the ward needs to go on that one in order for it to be perfectly fine. I know I'm saying this in the Sonata meta, but it's still I think that might come back to bite later on because it's very uninteractive as it is.
I was actually thinking more of like 1 magic armor instead of 2. Because 2 is a lot. It's like completely negates Thunder Surge.
I'm fine with the 2 because
still,
I think that the problem is that it's a little bit like Wings Warder when you couldn't interact with itself. When it had ward itself. It's like there's just not that much you can do when they put it behind some stuff. I mean, if you put that one in effigy in the middle, it kind of like unnecessarily poops on certain decks. And I'm not saying that removal decks needs to be viable, but I think some removal in a regular deck should be viable. And it kind of just like neuters it. And it's also, even when it's bad, like for instance, if you're playing it versus growth and they don't have anything, it's still good because it's like it's 4 armor for 2 that they can't interact with. So I think it's a little bit too push, to be honest. I think I would like to have more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
You could even lose 1 health as well because 4 health for 4 health for a 2 cost wall is pretty decent going. Then you got ward, so you can't target it. And then it does the other thing. So I think losing ward and maybe your health wouldn't be too bad.
I think that, to be honest, I think that the Sonata deck is not actually that hard to counter it in because you just shift your deck into playing more Iron Bile, and then also Quake. You go up to the maximum 3 Quakes just to make sure that you get that one board clear where you're clearing that one as well, and you also do some damage to the rest of the stuff. And then it's almost countered already. So I think it's not that hard to counter it in that deck. I'm a little bit more fearful of the more fair decks, where it's like a little bit of like mixed in removal and it just blanks a lot of scrolls. So not a very fun scroll in that. I like more things like Tick Bomb, for instance, where it's like very efficient but still counterable.
Yeah,
it's like
there's actually wow.
Yeah.
Effigy is a structure, and neither Tick Bomb nor Incendiaries deal with it. How stupid is that? It's like 2 counters, 2 structures, and none of them deal with it, and it's a structure. I should maybe say something, or maybe I'm just stupid. Who knows?
Maybe. I think we shouldn't rule that out.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll leave that one for now. Yeah.
Yeah. Put it on my list of options.
It's highly likely. Anything else you guys want to bring up about the meta and scrolls? I mean scrolls, not scrolls.
We could talk about Wild.
Yeah, we could.
You Wild, it's OP.
I'm playing mostly Judgment and I'm loving it. But that's Judgment.
It did a lot for Judgment, I think. I think it actually, in Judgment, it has that good, nice benefit of allowing the multicolored to compete with the mono ones, and the mono ones are much stronger now when they changed the rarity things. I think that it's easier to build a mono deck now in Judgment, but on the other hand they also buffed the multi ones, so those matches are awesome now. I think.
I agree.
It got better, yeah.
And other than that,
The new wild is very good in Highlander. I can say that.
Oh, that's right then.
also,
Yeah.
okay, let's go to the ranked stuff. Let's go to the actually competitive stuff. Are we fans of that or are we not?
How many other decks like are playing it apart from? I guess the Time Lord deck, the Dio thing is.
The Dio, yeah. There's a bit of that around.
Is I like that deck. I mean, I think it does unfair fair things. It's very interesting games. Pillar of Fatigue is probably the most game-altering scroll in the game because it's completely. It's funny how you can play against. I mean, it becomes a completely different mind game. That's almost like more lingering flavor than lingering itself. I think because how it warps the game when it's out and you can't deal with it. But then also they are affected by it. So yeah, it just becomes a very weird game. But I think that there's not too many. I haven't seen too many like good variety builds now. I would propose a challenge though when we're thinking about Wild. It would be interesting if we actually did some decks, for instance, on Scroller or something like that, where we completely disregarded resources.
Mm-hmm.
And just built whatever we wanted, and assumed that we always had like the proper mana, like we had all wild, and just assumed that we always could cast it with the resources that we have. Because what I'm thinking is that wild is wild is a little bit buffed now, obviously, but the danger of it is like if it becomes too buffed, what will the decks actually look like?
Yeah.
Will it like completely wreck the resource pie, like the identity of resources or not? And I think one way of testing it would be like if we did a thought experiment of just creating decks that completely disregarded that and assumed that it had all wild. What would those decks actually look like? Would we play Imperial Resources and Kinfolk Veteran, or would we play something different? I mean, it would be interesting to see what the deck would look like if all resources were one resource, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'd be a lot of draw and a lot of ramp and a lot of destruction.
That's the thing. I mean, we probably need to make sure that that's not the deck that gets played. But on the other hand, I mean, what if we say that, I mean, we get to that point and everyone is building different decks? Is that really a bad thing then? I mean, obviously there needs to be a system somewhere in there that we can have identities and that mono is a viable option. But there is a point where they scale wild too much so that it becomes that you can actually build anything. So
I think the only real way to stop that sort of thing happening would be making the decks unrecyclable. Well, uncyclable rather. So as soon as your deck's empty, that's it.
It's such a huge change.
Would you assume actually that it would be like all draw decks, or would it be maybe that you can play a really efficient aggro deck then because you can pick from anything? I mean, you can build an order aggro deck with like energy removal, for instance.
Could happen, but then there's just so much removal that you could be facing as well. You could just get sparks burned or whatever. Like you do that now.
Yeah, iron bars, scales, and all your control is like gone. If you have infinite amounts of removal and ramp and draw, you just have to have one win con, whereas they have to focus on the. I don't know.
I think you could counter bloodline.
Interesting.
Because you can just play every single different faction in your deck and cast it on curve. So it would be interesting to see what the decks would look like. We'll probably put if Squiddy or someone would do a couple of those. It would be interesting to see exactly what they would look like. So if you're bored, go and do one of those.
Yeah. I wanted to say something. Yeah, I actually wanted to say that it doesn't go to the. Let me think.
You lost the ability to speak.
Yeah, I'm like laggy. It's the internet. It's not me. I promise. I swear. It's.
Okay.
I'm making complete sense on my side. It's just you guys breaking up. Yeah, I wanted to say that I actually really love the resource identity, and I'm like every wild buff opens like less, right? You know what I'm trying to say, right? It's like
Nope.
it's disappearing a little bit with every buff to wild, exactly what like Sysp was saying, and I'm like thinking rather than having multicolor decks, I would rather have only mana resource. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
miss the
agree.
days
But
where ramp scrolls were a thing.
Sorry?
I miss the days where ramp scrolls were a thing. You had to work for your extra resources. That's what you had to do.
So you would disagree with my statement?
I don't know, would I?
I don't know, I'm asking all of you. Okay, I will not talk anymore. It's your show, guys.
I think there is actually some builds out there. There must be more builds out there with the current wild system. I don't know. It might take a while before we find them, but I'm banking on there's some decks out there that we haven't found yet.
Well, the biggest
And I hope they are not control decks.
Well, I was going to say the biggest multi-resource decks have been Go Draw, which is no longer that viable because you're just going to get enough power from Quake now, especially now it's costing too much. So that's gone. EO structures was a thing.
Yeah.
That's fine. But the fact that we changed memorials as well, it's just all become really awkward and inconsistent and annoying. I don't think anyone likes the memorial change at all. I haven't found anyone who does.
We're seeing so little splashes now as well. I think it's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a meta in beta for a while where we had splashes in almost every deck, and now we're seeing almost no splashes.
That's because Pother and Transposition now cost 2.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, that's one thing.
But with the new wild, that's possible.
Yeah, you can splash up to 3 now, but it's like I don't see a reason to in my decks, honestly. It's like you lose 1 tempo for it, and you get possibly dead draws, and that's just not worth it for me in any kind of deck. Like.
So basically, we're saying that the splashing was mostly because of undercosted cantrip scrolls in order, and
I would say so.
the fact that it was less saturation in the decks, that the decks were actually less powerful because there were less scrolls in the game.
Yes, because you didn't have as many options in your own color, you couldn't make as many good combos and things. Like right now, I'm having so many things I want to put in my deck. Before I was like, this is not the best scroll in the game, but I'll have it in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I was going over this in my video when I was going like history of late game growth. I mean, there's a guy called Zrave who slashed Potion of Resistance, which seemed quite a good thing. And then Purification was splashed as well. There was a deck where it had like 14 order scrolls in it. It had like Power Transposition, New Orders, Horn of Ages, Focus, all sorts of things. So there was lots of splashing going on just because it was dead easy. And there was actually meta for it. Now I just don't think it's there.
There are so many counterplays to that. Like for the Potion of Resistance, why would you ever play that? And
good,
but not even like Tether Recruit and like splashing Blessing of Haste or something like that is seen play. So I think it's. I mean, then it morphs into a complete Time Lord deck instead, and I think it's a little bit weird that we don't see that more. But maybe it's just because of the saturation and that the decks are like fairly streamlined at the moment.
yeah, I mean, before you had, I had a good example. Yeah, in Decay, very early Decay, no, actually, completely different example, and not in one resource. In all resources, we had almost always 50 scrolls, that was always a thing, but we had mostly 3s off. And right now, I see a lot more decks with more 2-offs than we had before. So we don't necessarily cap our scrolls, but we want to have all those possible draws that we could get in certain situations, and we are running more 2-offs. And that's for the same reason that we are not running those. Yeah.
There's also a lot of 2-offs at the moment because we're not so sure what we actually want in the deck. We're still trying to decide what the optimal deck is.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reasons also.
Oh, okay.
I'm running lots of 1-offs actually because of Halls of Owen in my Decay deck.
I mean, it's
get them back.
Yeah.
Cool.
it's weird because you can't knock the one-offs either because, for instance, in the Sonata, the one single Essence Feast, the decks that are running that, and they compared to decks that don't, the decay matchup plays completely differently, because if you're not running Essence Feast, there is a limit on the amount of how much damage you can take on your third idol, and also, like if you're leaving an idol, if it's actually gonna die or not. But if you're playing that single Essence Feast, you're gonna get to it eventually when you need it, and then you can, like, it's worth usually two Darklings on each idol that it affects. So just having that one in the deck that you can actually draw to eventually when you need it is a massive difference. So single copies are actually fairly important, I think, in certain decks, and I think we're still seeing too little of the silver bulleting approach, where you have like a single copy of something that completely wrecks the deck. For instance, like playing one effigy, and just, I mean, if you draw it, sometimes you need to cast it, but it's fine. And if it's like if it's not versus the right deck, it's the best scroll probably in your deck. So I mean, it's just
like Watcher, you can throw in that category as well, and
Watcher definitely there. I saw that you played one. And,
anti-lingering spell things probably include that, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the single Stone Enigma, for instance, in Energy is not bad. I mean, ramping you up and sometimes being the thing that you need. So you can definitely play a single ton of some stuff.
Metal Wonder probably as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the saturation of the mana resource scrolls is so big that splashing is not needed at all.
That's what we were saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
But
there's just nothing to splash. That's the problem. I mean, there's no strategy that kind of warrants splashing. If focus still targeted structures, you could go with that.
Well, still, Blessing of Haste and Decay could make a whole lot of difference. I mean, it's something that Decay... I mean, I don't know what kind of Decay is being played now, but the old kind of Decay, if it's still played, it made a lot of sense before. When Decay came out, it was played by... what was his name? It started with the B and was a...
Yartarog.
Yeah, Yartarog. He was playing that deck, and it made complete sense in Decay. And I think it still would be good in that, but it's just... Why when you could have so many other things and make their deck?
Well, if you're splashing, you also want to be able to have a few. You can't really just splash for 3 cards of a non-main resource too effectively. So
Okay, flips,
splash
boulders, it's still like...
yeah, there's Prover, Blessing of Haste going along with that as well. Maybe a transposition or 2 as well.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
still
it's kind
making
of quite
sense,
a
but
deep
it's...
splash. You have to tether the recruit in that deck as well. But also, I had Nutrition Puppet Soldier in that deck. So
Maybe somebody will come up with
it might have helped.
splash deck with splashes. Maybe it will become meta again. We'll see.
Maybe.
yeah, I think the Wings Warder, for instance, is Wings Warder and Effigy could be interesting to splash somewhere.
You could splash Eclipse.
Yeah, you could. I think that's almost as bad as playing one copy of Beetlestone, which was that. But yeah, I think that one took the cake. But other than that, splashing Eclipse is not yeah.
Well,
It's not optimal. We'll give him that.
No.
Go for Wicked Being or something. Shroud of a Life even. We'll go with that.
I was interested in actually trying at one point maybe to splash Nutrition and having it trigger off Replicaton. Get it back to yeah, but then Skullshrine came along and I quickly abandoned those ideas of temporary resource ramp.
Well,
So
you
there
can
you go.
you can splash a bit of growth in Gravelock deck still. I mean, there was a deck way back in Alpha that splashed Giant Power and Eye of Eagle when we had a Gravelock deck.
Yes.
I remember that. I had a single Dryadic also in some
Which is
other.
quite good.
Too.
So you can still do that.
It's like, yeah, you could.
What happened
Having
to
six
Dryadic
health
power?
Gravelock outcasts.
What happened to Dryadic power?
Go on,
It's
make it in the
It's
meta.
fine. Still.
I missed that. I missed that scroll. I never see that.
Okay, we got like 11 minutes left, and I really want to show something that Orangee provided. So let's move on, shall we?
Yes.
Sure.
Orangee, have you got any introduction for what I'm about to show?
Cover your
Yeah,
eyes.
it's a project me and Kevasna are working on. Also Gareth, who's providing some information and talking.
How long have you been working on it?
We have been thinking about this for months, but we just started like real 4 to 3 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And it's a new site, like the Academy site, except it's for Scrolls tournaments.
Okay, I'm showing some pictures on the
Yeah, are
the
you
stream?
showing the pictures in the order I
Yes.
sent them to?
Maybe, I'm not too sure, but I've got a creative tournament thingy going on here. So who is it aimed at? What?
This is aimed for everyone who's playing Scrolls.
Okay.
So
how
this
will
is the
it will work?
create a tournament page where you can then create a tournament. Everyone can create a tournament.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we currently only have single elimination, but we are working on going to add tons of different formats of tournaments.
I see only one Twitch stream. Is that on purpose?
Only one Twitch stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one made Twitch stream.
And
I
will
guess
there be
we
more?
could.
I hope so.
We could add more options for that.
So when is it launching? Bro, I should have asked you that first. When is it launching?
We are going to launch a beta preview for our tournament this weekend, I think.
Uh-huh.
That will be a beta test on everything, and it will not be a fully version. So people can play with that.
So this weekend there will be a tournament.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I see a calendar here. So
more about the creating a tournament though. We have registration fees if you want to have that in your tournament. Yeah. And Kevaston are making a bot for in-game where the bot is collecting fees.
Nice.
Oh.
And will automatically distribute the gold for the winners.
Nice.
So that bot will do everything for that. We have match statistics where you can click on a match.
Yeah, I've got it on screen now.
Good. So if you click on the match, you will get a little pop-up where it says just who won and who lost, and you have a full match details.
Uh-huh.
If you click on that, there is the match statistics screen, and there every single match statistic on a match like you get in game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you get full view on what's going on.
Yeah, I'm spamming the screenshots in really like here's that. All people are having fun with it. Yeah, it looks really nice. So awesome. This is like I'm super hyped for this because if you manage to grow it good enough, it will be awesome. And the calendar will be hopefully great. I'm hoping for
the calendar. I should talk about that too.
Okay, go on.
The calendar will be a feature that we make now for the tournament. It will not be this weekend, but when it's done, it's done. And it will feature everything from streams that people plans to like set releases. It will contains when the new seasons are, official release content, and maybe we have some personalization for it, so you can add your own stuff to it if you want. That is only visible for you then, of course.
Nice. And I'm hoping I'm not saying to do that. I said it to you before, but to the stream, I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the statistics, but the data from the calendar and show it on Reddit, like the upcoming things, and hopefully it will be well integrated all around the community.
Yeah, that should be doable.
Should be doable, definitely. So awesome. And there's one more thing I wanted to ask you about, since we have about 5 minutes left. I heard something about Scrolls Guide and Scrollture not being two things, but being one thing. Is that true? Is that going to happen?
Scrolls Guide.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
You put him on the spot here, Ashton. You've done him. Look at him. Look what you've done to the ball man.
But he said I could talk about it.
Look what you've done to him. You reduced him to nothing.
No.
You put pressure on him.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, this is awkward. take it, Sysp. Say something. Save me.
We have a question in chat.
Oh, awesome.
Will this support team tournaments?
I don't know yet, actually. But I
We shall see.
guess there are going to be some Dragon Ball styled brackets
Yeah.
formatting thing. Yeah.
So the question is hopefully yes.
Yeah, hopefully yes.
Yeah,
First,
the
we're
big
just
test-
going to
the big-
release single elimination, then we are going to add more different formats later. So
The
Is
big
it-
test will be when the Scrolls Guard tournament actually pops up in a few weeks' time. Hopefully, it'll be ready by then.
Yeah.
We should hopefully get about 30 or 40 people in that. So
That bot
fun.
collecting the fees are actually quite nice.
Yeah. Will it support invitations? Like no fees, but also not open for everyone? Will it be like only registerable by admins?
currently, we have when you create a tournament, you can choose if registration state is closed, open, or invite only.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
So you can send out invites, and only invited people can join.
Awesome.
Wow.
You thought of everything.
it's as,
didn't you?
it's as
Yeah,
if
you
they
guys-
thought it through. Yeah,
You guys think this through, I think.
It's
Yeah.
KB and his microwave doing things.
I'm really looking forward to the
Don't do the
Inside
song.
joke.
Yeah, and we also have decks. You can require people to enter the decks.
Awesome. And
So you must have a deck to enter.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can't play without a dex. It's
like the
You can't play them at all without a deck's not allowed.
Yeah.
there are
no
the
deck
double
tournament
draft.
is not going to happen. I'm sorry.
There are some
Mind
tournaments
game every
that requires a
opponent
deck.
they're conceding. Yeah. So, but they see who they're playing in when the match starts, and they just instantly concede, even though you didn't have any deck with you. Flawless victor.
Yeah.
I'm-
And the decks
Go on.
will be viewable almost like it is on Scrollgear, but with our own page with a little bit better information, I think.
Uh-huh.
Depends what I come up with.
Something great for you. You're coming up with great stuff always, so counting on you. You're great. Anything else? We've got like 3 minutes. I'll try not to make it any more awkward.
Yeah, I don't know if we have much else. I think that one question I have is that how many patches we will see before we actually go to live now. I mean, we know we're not gonna see another set.
Uh-huh.
And with live, I mean get out of beta. Can't be that
It's-
far away now.
It's actually interesting topic. I think we'll see quite a lot of patches that they will not wait for any big patch, and they'll be just pushing stuff out as they make it. Like we see the tweaks right now being pushed out to the test server fairly quickly after the patch, and I think we'll see a lot of more small updates slowly getting as much stuff as possible before the release. So I'm thinking quite a lot of patches, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, one thing it would be pretty interesting is that if they did another design contest just before the release, and picked 4 very high impact scrolls or something like that. I mean, something that was maybe not high impact but very flashy. Almost like that they could. I mean, so that would hype also the current base, but also it could be something iconic to each faction. A little bit like the uniques, the first uniques, for instance, which like were with Neuro and Urhald and all of that. And maybe they're not completely
I don't
iconic. I would think that some of the vanilla creatures are actually more iconic to the
Brave and stuff.
resources. Brave and Automaton and
Yeah.
all of those have been doing battle since pre-alpha,
I don't think there will be
constantly clashing
another
into each other.
design competition before release, because they will probably save it for all new people coming, and they want them to experience what it's like designing scrolls. So
Could be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
We shall see.
Last thoughts, anyone? Say whatever is on your mind. You've got each 15 seconds. Sysp.
Potato.
No, Sysp was just talking. He will talk last. Orangee, 15 seconds. Go.
Potato, tomato, banana.
Nice. Blinky.
Are you ordering here? I've got nothing to add. I'm just muting someone home.
Okay.
He's just calling me a dictator every half an hour, so I've had enough.
Blinky is a dictator.
So I'm acting like a dictator.
Nice.
Now you sent me a challenge. Oh, how nice. No, go on.
Last thoughts. No.
No, he's spamming challenge
Sysp?
now.
No, he's ignoring me. I've been too.
No, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry about Samata, guys. It's
Okay.
it was actually, I think it was actually accidentally changed to 4 growth just before the patch, and then I actually alerted them that it was not in the patch notes, and I think they changed it back to 3 again. So yeah, you can hate. You can hate.
I think it's just wild that makes that deck a bit annoying. So
I think it was
the old wild system.
The only thing that changed was that and the Rekindle Spirit, which also pushed it in the direction of playing less variety of creatures and the Sonata. So, but I think that's not the linchpin of it. It was actually fairly good before those changes. So.
All right, let's wrap it up completely. So thank you all 3 guys for coming. I really appreciate it. It was hard to get guests. So thank you for coming, Orangee. Thank you for coming, Blinky. And thank you for coming, Sysp. And thank you for coming, all the viewers. We will see you next week with another Heart of Scrolls. And yeah, enjoy your week and stuff. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.